Some of the stuff sounds funny, you know. Sherberry said that if you lower one note at a time, you'll end up with 4 dominants. Lower the C a half step. What's the dominant?
B7.
You might already know that there are 4 common dominants that you can use resolving into the tonic chord. We're talking about the common 5 to the 1, so G7 to C. Then we're talking about the backdoor dominant, the flat 7 to the tonic, B flat 7 to C. You might know the tritone substituted dominant, the D flat 7 into C. And then there is the 4th dominant, that's an E7 into C. I call this the 4th dominant, or the dominant to the parallel minor, but it's not exactly the parallel minor. But if you have a better name for it, or a more fitting name for it, please leave it in the comment. I want to show you how you can interchange these dominants and get really super nice lines, how you connect these dominants into your normal 2-5-1 lines. By this you're getting a more or less altered sound. And to do this we need a few dominant tricks. We know that Coltrane was a genius applying different harmonic touches into his playing. On the dominant in the Coltrane blues, Blues to You, from this wonderful album, Coltrane Plays the Blues, Coltrane is using actually a lot of different dominants going to the tonic. For example, in this phrase, Coltrane plays a rather ordinary bebop phrase into that tonic chord from the G7 to the C. I'm building up to using all the 4 dominants, so remember that the bebop scale is a great asset to have in the pocket when you're soloing. And when we're talking about these dominants, the 4 dominants I just introduced you to, work out the bebop scale in all 4 dominants. And these 4 dominants belongs together. So when working on a technical level with these dominants, trying to get them into your fingers, doing exercise in those 4 dominants, remember to add small licks, get the melodic line in there. In the lesson manual PDF you can download on Patreon, you can find lots of exercise and lots of licks, working exactly with these 4 dominants, taking these 4 dominants, putting them together, making licks resolving to the same tonic, which is the purpose. The lesson manual PDF download link is in the description. You also probably know that often before a 5 chord, the dominant, comes a subdominant, the 2 minor chord. You see that I add the D minor 7 chord to the G7 chord as a suspension to reaching that tonic chord where I resolve. So with that 2 minor chord in mind, we move on to the next dominant, the backdoor dominant. Coltrane really interchanged these dominants to get different sounds on the dominants. So we have the normal 5 to the 1, G7 to C. And then we have the backdoor dominant, the E flat 7 into F. What Coltrane did was playing these different sets of dominant in bar 9 and 10 in the blues to get different sounds. So actually in a blues, Coltrane will play both these lines. So now we're getting back to that D minor chord, adding the D minor chord before the dominant chord. But what Coltrane did in the F key was playing a B flat minor 7, E flat 7. But he was only focusing on the B flat minor 7, so he's only using the 2, the B flat minor 7, going into F. Let's check this out in the key of C. Playing B flat 7, the backdoor dominant to C, he's playing an F minor 7 chord. So he's playing F minor 7 as the backdoor dominant. You see it also in the key of F, B flat minor, E flat 7 going into F. You probably see that we're moving into different keys now. So we need to transpose. Try making a quite normal 2-5-1 in C. Then use the exact same line, just transpose it into the backdoor dominant chords, the F minor, B flat 7 into C. The only thing I do is transpose it, and then I readjust the C major chord a bit to get a good resolve. You probably noticed that you actually need even more keys to get these dominants into your playing, so work stuff out in 12 keys is really important. Let's move on to the next dominant in a new key.
Sherberry said lower the C a half step. What's the dominant?
B7.
Coltrane was a master in playing tritone dominants. making these small changes in a normal D minor G7 C, but then adding that tritone substituted dominant, the D flat 7. I'll just go through a little bit of music theory. What the word says, tritone substituted dominant. That's the dominant, a tritone interval away from the normal dominant, so a tritone interval away from the G7. E flat 7 resolving into the C chord. When you're looking at this Coltrane line, when Coltrane is using the tritone substituted dominant, you see that he's mostly just touching in on the minor chord, the 2 minor to the tritone substituted dominant. Exactly as with the backdoor dominant lick just before, you see that you can use the minor chord instead of the dominant chord. Look close, in this tritone lick I've added one extra thing. When working with these dominants and the neighbor subdominants, you should really consider using upper structures. They sound really awesome. Run exercises like this when you are trying to learn these upper structures. Play the upper structure, but think of the root while you're doing it.
Go back, see it again. Lord E flat.
D7.
What Barry Harris says here is that the 4th dominant is a D7. For us on the tenor saxophone on a B flat key, it's the E7. Normally you will have the E7 lead into the A major 7. So how come the E7 is the 4th dominant? Let's check this out. If we compare the A major 7 and the C major 7, you see there are G sharp and the C sharp in the way. So let's tweak this A major 7 a bit. Getting an A minor 7, removing these sharps. Tweaking a little bit more. We see that the A minor 7 is actually a C major 6, which means we have a normal E7 just moving into A. But A minor. And when you add a 2 to it, it sounds really cool. B minor, E7 into A minor. Or C major 6. A few times I've mentioned the 4 keys, taking the dominants around in all the 4 keys. This is very important to get flexible, because when you have all the 4 dominants, you can actually mix them together to get these different levels of alterations in your line. In the lesson manual PDF on Patreon, there are lots of these exercises and lots of these licks. Joining these 4 dominants together, resolving into the same tonic chord, because that's the essence. The lesson manual PDF on Patreon is a great asset to get you into these mixed dominant sounds. And remember that the lesson manual download link is right here. If you want to dig deeper, this is your chance. Check out how Coltrane and Michael Brecker goes all in on using these minor chords before the dominant in their outside playing. Play music.